The Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games enters its 6th day, and at the Yangtze National Alpine Skiing Centre, it is men's giant slalom day for you, and the weather continues to play a little bit of a havoc. It's very warm, and as a result, every race now till the end of these Paralympic Winter Games here at the Yangtze National Alpine Skiing Centre will start an hour and a half earlier than originally planned to try and get the best of the conditions up on the Hai Tuo mountain. After days of speed events, we now look at the technical disciplines, and here is the session schedule. We start with the vision impaired, then standing, and then the sitting. And as always in giant slalom, it is 2 runs. The first run earlier on now, and the second run later on day 6. The combined times of those 2 runs will determine who is the Paralympic champion of Beijing 2022. Well, the athletes at the bottom of the training hill, just going through their final preparations earlier, but further up, let's have a look at the weather conditions, and you can see, look, already air temperature 7 degrees centigrade, and it's not even 8:30 in the morning local time, and that is why the start session or start times have been moved forward to try and beat that time. Here is the track.
First run course set by our Italian coach, Davide Gro, and looks like a pretty turny set of gates up on the top section.
The men's giant slalom, vision impaired, on day 6 of the Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games. And let's have a look at the start list. There are 12 competitors from 10 national Paralympic committees at the top. The defending champion, Giacomo Bertagnoli, goes at bib number 2. He's also the reigning world champion. The 2010 Paralympic champion, Jakob Krakow, has bib number 5. But the World Cup standings leader, Johannes Aigner of Austria, he has bib number 6, and he'll be looking for the gold medal that would take Austria above the USA in terms of total golds won in para-alpine skiing. They're tied currently on 91. Well, an early start for the athletes, and but they'll be ready.
Yeah, great job by the organisers. We've said already they've moved the start time forward, and the last-minute preparations now being taken by our early starters. And coaches, athletes, it's a bit of an anxious wait. We will be very much at the mercy of the weather gods here today, and I'm not talking about bad weather, talking about, well, not quite unseasonably. We're rolling into springtime, so we'd expect it to get warm, but I think we're going to see temperatures well in excess of 10-12 degrees Celsius by the end of the proceedings today, and that will have a rather detrimental effect on the snowpack. It's going to get soft, it's going to get choppy, so it's going to be tough come the second leg, but let's focus on the first as the athletes make the last few moments preparation, get clipped in, locked and loaded for this first run of men's giant slalom.
That's Marek Kubaka of Slovakia, who will go with bib number 3, the only B1 athlete in this race. Miroslav Haras of Slovakia and his guide Maroš Hudek will get this men's giant slalom vision impaired race underway. And the athletes ski alternate red and blue gates. And Haras, the Paralympic silver medalist from 2018, is off and running, and a chance to see this pattern of gates set by the Italian coach Davide Gross.
Yeah, it's very, very steep, as we can see at the top of the course, and the Slovakian pair finding the rhythm good and early.
Lovely skiing from Haras to start with. 22.68, the first time split we really get a chance to look at it. Flattens out here a little bit.
Yeah, it's a rhythmical section again. It's a rhythmical section, course rather, all the way down. That middle part flatter, but once again the terrain steepens up, and this is really the trademark sting in the tail of this Alpine hill. Long double gate here as they sweep towards the final pitch, and almost now within sight of the finish.
Couple of gates from home for Harris, who will look to set the early time, which he does, and he is home. Well, we haven't had the time come up on our clock. 57:24 is the time for Harris.
Small technical error there on the data feed, but we're back underway at the top.
Bertagnoli of Italy, the defending Paralympic champion, gets us underway with bib number 2 with his coach, his guide Andrea Ravelli. And he's already 1.6 seconds the right side of the clock at the first split.
Very confident attacking top section. I think that's going to be one of the key things.
2.36 the right side of the clock. Bertagnoli goes into provisional first place. Marek Kubaka of Slovakia at his 5th Paralympic Winter Games with his guide Maria Zatovica.
Kubaka doing a good job of staying in touch with the guide. Guide now needs to speed up as she comes to flat. One of the trickier parts of the guide visually impaired athlete partnership is reading the terrain, where it goes from steep to flat and from flat to steep. It's very, very difficult to keep the consistent distance between the guide and the athlete. Kubaka very smooth here. This will be a competitive run from our sole B1 skier. Another split.
3.2, the wrong side of the clock, but excellent work from the Giant Slalom World Champion from 2019.
Yeah, kept the rhythm well here, runs with good momentum onto the final pitch. It's icy down here, it's still in the shade. You can hear the noise of the skis washing over that hard surface.
Good skiing from Kubaka, who is over the line, 58.95. Really good work from Kubaka. Marek Kubaka into 3rd place. Neil Simpson of Great Britain and his guide, his older brother, Andrew Simpson, 19 years of age. Neil Simpson of Great Britain off and running in this men's giant slalom vision impaired race.
Important for the boys to settle in here. They've done a good job of that. Oh, just as I say, Andrew gets a little late on the previous blue gate, recovers it well, and they've kept the connection. A good recovery, and it looks to be pretty quick as they roll out onto the flats.
Good opening turns from Simpson, and on the clock, 24.66. That's 3rd quickest at that point.
Just a little heavy edge set by Neil Simpson on the left, 3 previous left foot turns. Makes the adjustments.
The next time split. And we don't get that split. 4.68, the wrong side of the clock for Simpson as he comes into this finishing pitch.
Down onto this final steep. This is where it gets hard icy. The boys have done a good job here. Now the connection absolutely perfect. Barely 2 ski lengths between them as they go for the line.
5.93 off the pace for Simpson into 4th place. Jakub Krakow of Slovakia and his guy Branislav Brosman next on track, the Paralympic champion from 2010 in Vancouver and a silver medalist 4 years ago.
I was going to say it's an aggressive start by the Slovakians, but just a little too ambitious there. And the first faller in this competition today.
So huge disappointment for Krakow. The silver medalist from 4 years ago is out. Just catching the inside ski on the gate and putting him down. And let's hope he's not injured. So the Austrian pairing of Johannes Eichner and Matteo Fleischmann next in the start hut. Bib number 6. Just waiting for the nod from the start referee before he gets his challenge underway. Looking all very relaxed. Up in the start hut, we could look at how they come out the start hut and then move to their right and head down the ice river piste. Johannes Eichner of Austria and his guide Matteo Fleischmann with bib number 6 next out of the start hut, the World Cup standings leader. Just 16 years of age, silver medalist at the World Championships in giant slalom. And the Austrian, one of the favourites for this race, is on his way.
Nice solid first couple of turns from the Austrians, really clean edge sets by Eichner. Now they need to just let the brakes off and pick some speed up for these flatter turns that lie ahead. They're doing just that, clipping those gates very, very closely indeed.
Fleischmann, the guy, doing a really good job just checking over his shoulder literally every other gate, and he has the green light at the first split time.
Yeah, really had the measure of that top section now. Can they keep it going across the flats? It's important to engage as physically as you possibly can, really pump the skis and work them across the flat sections.
39.92 at the next split time, and we don't get the stop, but he's the wrong side of the clock by 1.26 seconds.
The double gate onto this steep, icy final pitch. And yeah, the line is good, short and quick.
54.88, 1.03 off the pace of Bertagnoli. Eichner in a good position for run 2. Yassin Delaplace from France and his guide Maxime Jourdain. Delaplace, a bronze medalist at the World Championships, and guide and athlete very close here.
Great connection. Delaplace looks ever so slightly tentative, but rather static in the turns. He's well connected to his guide now. They're on the final pitch here. 6 gates to go and they'll be across the line.
He was 2.63 off the pace at the last time splits, and he's 3.59 off the pace at the bottom. 4th place for Delaplace. Patrick Hetmer of the Czech Republic, the 39-year-old in his 3rd Paralympic Winter Games, the first time we've seen Hetmer.
Less experienced competitor does a good job on that top section, makes certain, takes a slightly cautious, conservative, let's say, line. Don't think he'll be challenging for the absolute top spots, but he's affording himself the luxury of letting the skis run here on the flatter part, coming now towards the final pitch. 1 double gate to go, and then it's down that wall into the shade.
Just short of 13 seconds off the pace. This is where it gets really icy and steep. Good work from Hetmer. and he will stop the clock at 1:11.77. Patrick Hebner goes into 7th place. Logan Leach of Canada and his guy Julien Petit. Next out, the Style Hut, the 19-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games.
Pick them up here as they run to the line.
And he stops the clock, 1:05.85, 7th place, 10.97 off the pace. Hwang Ming-yu from Korea and his guide Han Se-hyun are the next to go. Bib number 10, second Paralympic Winter Games for Hwang.
Nice and solid round that double gate as he comes on to the final steep section. They just have to keep this clean from here. That's right, got the pressure on the outside ski. Tucks now for the line.
And he stops the clock, 1:05.23, 7th position for Hwang. Patrick Jensen from Australia and his guide Amelia Hodgson, bib number 11, second Paralympic Winter Games for Jensen, 11th in the giant slalom 4 years ago.
Taking it steady, coming off the middle part of the flats. The terrain now rolling and steepening gradually. Good work here by the Australian pair. Here comes the double gate. They must stay high, strong on the left ski here. Up onto the right foot and now carry the momentum, or carry the line, I should say. Try to keep the line high down this final pitch.
Jensen for the line, and he crosses in 1:09.98, slides into 9th place. Damir Mizrak of Croatia and his guide Maria Koch are next out on track. Third Paralympic Winter Games for Mizrak, and just running a little low on that gate.
Yeah, they didn't have a particularly solid top section and still battling here to find the rhythm. This is better as they come on towards the final pitch. Nice and wide on that red in the double. Gives them a chance to get early for this following red. And now, once again, it's all about holding that high line, trying not to get dropped too far down the hill between each of these control gates.
Mizrak crosses the line, 1:15.6, slides into 11th place. All smiles for Mizrak at the bottom. So the standings after the first run of the men's giant slalom, vision impaired, and Giacomo Bertagnoli, the defending Paralympic champion, leads the way from Johannes Eichner of Austria, with Miroslav Haros in 3rd and Delaplace in 4th. It's all lining up nicely for run 2 later on day 6. Start list for the men's giant slalom standing race at Beijing 2022, and the defending Paralympic champion Theo Gamur goes at bib number 15. The world champion Alexei Bugiev, he's not here, but the world championship silver medalist Arthur Boucher has bib number 19, and he's also the current World Cup giant slalom standings leader. And we have 44 competitors from 22 National Paralympic Committees at the top. Thomas Charles Walsh of the United States of America, the 27-year-old in his second Paralympic Winter Games, is on track. A bronze medalist at the World Championships in giant slalom back in January of 2022. And some good opening turns from the American.
Yeah, great execution off that early pitch by Walsh. Look at the pace he's carrying out onto the flats. The ski's whipping under the body. He's doing a good job of staying ahead of the action, driving forward through the turns. Oh, just gets pitched a little at the first split time.
22.74 is that first split. as he comes onto this flatter section of the track, and it will just tip over again shortly.
He's found the rhythm again. Another strong series of turns following that small error at the early split. Walsh staying focused. The snow starting to break up a little already.
Final time check as he comes into the finishing pitch.
Just a little late on that previous red, but here comes the line.
57.6 for Walsh, the time for those remaining to beat. 21-year-old Federico Pellizzari of Italy, the next to go in his first Paralympic Winter Games. He was fourth in the giant slalom at the World Championships in January of this year, and he is just over a second off the pace.
Very much in touch here onto the final pitch. Not far to go now for Pellizzari. He needs to dig deep to stay in touch with Walsh.
57.6, and he's just a second over the pace of Walsh. Good first run, not too happy by the looks of things. Defending Paralympic champion Theo Gamor is off and running now.
Little mistake there on the second to third gate by Gamur, uncharacteristic for such an experienced competitor. Just ran the line a little too straight and missed the entry point to one of the turns. He's settled now as he comes across the flat. Time ticks on. We'll get another check just in a couple of gates.
Yeah, well, he's found a little bit of time. He was 0.78 off the pace at the first split. Here comes the final split.
He's got to stay high here.
Good work from Gamor. How close can he get to 57.6? And the answer is 0.76 off the pace. Good work from the defending Paralympic GS champion. Alexis Guimont of Canada goes with bib number 16, the 22-year-old in his second Paralympic Winter Games, a bronze medalist in Pyeongchang. But he is out of the running. Disappointment for Guimond.
Yeah, just out of sight of our cameras. It's somewhere around the middle section. He's come out there discussing what maybe went wrong with one of his coaches. But ultimately, a disappointing run for Guimond.
Jourdain Brassin of France, bib number 17 in his second Paralympic Winter Games. And trying to chase down the time of Thomas Charles Walsh.
Brassin solid at the top. It's a tough ask for Brassin, you know, LW4 skier with a left leg prosthesis. That first right-hand turn, the second gate from the start is it's set very, very tight. And from that gate, it really determines where the remainder of the rhythm will lie on that top section.
Here he comes now towards the finish. 57.6 is the time of our current leader, Walsh, and 2.40 off the pace. Fourth place for Brassin at the moment. Markus Salka of Austria, the next out of the start out with bib number 18. A bronze medalist in the giant slalom back in Sochi in 2014.
Salka is such a strong athlete, really good physical condition this season, and using that strength, that fitness to good effect here, keeping the work rate as high as he can down across the flats. Here comes the double.
Just shy of 2 seconds off the pace. Salka, can he ski a solid final pitch? 57.6 and 2.67 off the pace for Salka. Arthur Boucher of France with bib number 19 is the next to challenge.
O'Shea choosing a very tight line, getting right on each and every one of the gates. Around the double, gets pushed a little wide on the entry. Could have been a little earlier on the left foot to get into that long double turn. He's kept a high line though for these final gates.
O'Shea fourth for the time being, 1.59 off the pace, within striking distance. Mitchell Gourlay of Australia in the start hub with bib number 21. Fourth Paralympic Winter Games for Gourlay. He was the giant slalom crystal globe win on the World Cup in 2017, and he's just over a second off the pace.
Very much in touch. Great closing turns from Gourlay.
Fifth, 2.13 off the pace. Gourlay in contention for run two. Little shake of the head. Santeri Kiiveri of Finland, the 21-year-old. The next to challenge.
Kiiveri through this middle section. Maybe a little straighter. Oh, that was a lovely turn. Brought the skis right beside the gate. Brushes them aside with that arm protector. He's in early straight on the double. Does it? Yeah, it seems to be paying off for him. He's kept the line high and now running straight for the line.
Excellent work from Kiiveri, who is 0.38 off the pace, goes into second position. Kiiveri, little shrug of the shoulders, but very much in the mix. Aaron Lindstrom of Sweden with bib number 23, the next to go in his second Paralympic Winter Games. His best result has come in slalom. Let's see how he goes here. And Joel goes down. As a result, again, high side a little earlier on, but he's okay.
Little unfortunate there, but he has to take. He knows he has to take as many risks as he possibly can, with no help from the factoring at all. Unfortunate for Lindstrom, though. He's another casualty in this men's standing GS.
This is Thomas Gorka of Austria, just waiting for the beep to get him ready. There's the beep, so up goes the clip, or down goes the clip. Thomas Gorka of Austria, the 28-year-old, on his way in his third Paralympic Winter Games. Now, Gorka gets caught out, doesn't come to a stop, so can continue.
Oh, that's such a shame for Tommy Grocker. You know, he looked a little unsettled. The start ramp is a little, there's a slight slope on it. And for the athletes skiing with outriggers, it's difficult there for them to get themselves steadied in the start. That in turn takes its toll on his concentration. Technically, he missed a couple of the early turns, and now in the middle part of the course, disappointment for Thomas Grocker. He too is sidelined.
Yeah, just missing that blue gate. Patrick Halgren of the United States of America, the next to go, 29 years of age, competing in his first Paralympic Winter Games, competing to honor his brother Lucas, who died in a motorbike accident back in 2016. Now, Halgren, good early turns from him.
Keeping the line solid, cutting a very direct line. It's the blend of sweeping turns, but taking a chance when you dare to go a little straighter. That's one of the key attributes of the giant slalom skier. But a little bit of time's gone by, but Halgren still in contention here.
Just getting thrown a little late in the line, which is where that time has gone, but now gets it back.
Smoother turns here from the American. Halgren sets himself up in this next couple for these slightly rounder turns as he comes off the flat rather towards the pitch.
6.74, but good work from Halgren nonetheless. And here is that finishing pitch, and just gets his outrigger caught in the gate. Great recovery.
Yeah, he was doing exactly what he needed to. The skiers need to get up to the right-hand side before the breakaway happens.
57.6, he's down. 9.54 off the pace. Good skiing from Halgren. Nico Pajanschnitz of Austria, the 25-year-old, in his second Paralympic Winter Games. And here he comes to the finish, and a good run, 2.45, slides into 8th place. Liang Jingyi from the People's Republic of China, 19 years of age. He's been skiing really well at these Paralympic Winter Games.
Nice wide stance, allowing him to get good lateral movement. By that I mean from side to side, rolling from one set of edges across onto the other. That gives him early purchase, keeps himself going pretty steadily. Here's this long double, now up across to the skier's right and dive down this final pitch. This is where he can maybe try to steal another 10th or so.
1.14 off the pace at the second split. 1.27 in the mix. Liang from China. Oscar Burnham of France, the next to challenge in his first Paralympic Winter Games. 22 years of age and just over a second and a half off the pace.
Moving quickly here, coming off the ends of the flat, now down the pitch into the finish area.
Just over a minute, 2.51 off the pace, 10th for the time being for Burnham. Robin Kusch of Switzerland, the next to go in his second Paralympic Winter Games. But Kusch is out. Now, you didn't see what happened. Manuel Bodnex of France, the next to go. The 34-year-old. Oh, he's getting pushed very wide on this very steep opening section.
Yeah, it's important as well to try to keep the line early. He's recovered it well across the space of 4 or 5 gates. Now regained the momentum and, more importantly, regained the rhythm of this quite technically challenging course. Another mistake there before the split.
Bodnex just a shade over 2 seconds off the pace and gets the turns right on the flatter section.
Yeah, that was a good section. He's I don't think he'll really have done much to the gap, but not really lost much more time by my judgment.
2.96 now. This is a good recovery from Bodnex after a difficult start. 57.6, the time of our leader Walsh. Bodnex stops the clock. 4.04 off the pace. Had a little bit of difficulty in that bottom section, but he's back for run 2. Jeffrey Stoet of the Netherlands, the 26-year-old in his second Paralympic Winter Games. 12th back in 2018.
Jeffrey Stoet across the flat. A lot of noise coming from the skis, indicating they're drifting sideways and chattering across the little judder marks, the little washboard marks. He needs to clean that up down this final pitch. Really can't afford to let himself slide too low in these remaining 5 or 6 gates.
Stoet, a couple of gates from home, and he stops the clock. 1:04.85, goes into 13th place for the time being. Hilmar Orvason from Iceland, the only athlete from Iceland at Beijing 2022 in his second Paralympic Winter Games. In 2018, he became the youngest Winter Paralympian and the first Alpine skier for Iceland.
Good job in the top section. Oh, just aside, given the props, he goes down on the double gate. He knew he had to make certain of that long, sweeping right-hand curve. Tough for the LW2s, especially the right footers, because that turn is on his less strong side.
Martin Franz of Slovakia, next on course in his 5th Paralympic Winter Games. His best result came in 2006 when he was 4th in the giant slalom in Turin.
France doing a good job here. That trademark wide stance of his keeps him rolling quickly in giant slalom. He's not so strong in his upper body, so he needs to be doubly solid with what he's doing with his feet and with his legs. There's it, rolls the edges across. Here comes this important double. Oh, he gets drifted a little sideways in the red gate of the double. Fighting here to keep the line as high as he can. Recovers reasonably well. Now he should make it to the line clear from here.
Good from France. 6.12 off the pace, slides into 13th for the time being. Bib number 34, Chen Xinjun from the People's Republic of China, 25 years of age in his first Paralympic Winter Games. Seven seconds off the pace at the second time split.
Solid work here on the home snow. Just gets caught a little on the first red on the pitch.
57.6. 9.57 off the pace, goes into 16th place. Japan in the start hut now with Tokai Masahiko, the 48-year-old in his 3rd Paralympic Winter Games, a silver medalist in Turin back in 2006, but missed 2010 and 2018.
Stands solidly, taking a slightly more direct line than many of our skiers, but well, relatively speaking, paying off. Just has to be a little bit careful with that down on the steeper section, because with the ground dropping away very quickly, can't afford any slips.
57.6, 17th position for Tokai Masahiko. Roger Puig-Davy from Andorra, the 24-year-old in his 2nd Paralympic Winter Games. His best results have been in speed and just under 5 seconds off the pace here.
Here we go on the final pitch. Good closing turns. Real nice turn there on the blue.
103.88, 6.28 off the pace. 14th position for Puig-Davy at the moment. Andrew Harahay of the United States of America being told to give it the beans, the 26-year-old in his 2nd Paralympic Winter Games.
Good confident stuff here from Harahay. Running the skis parallel. That's good, efficient giant slalom skiing.
Harahay, 49.91. He's going to consider sit skiing after these Paralympic Winter Games.
Right now, there's certainly nothing wrong with what he's doing in the men's standing class.
57.6 and 18th position for Harahay. Davide Bendotti of Italy, the next to go in his 2nd Paralympic Winter Games. More of a slalom specialist. He's a 2-time Italian slalom champion. But here in the giant slalom, he's just under 6 seconds off the pace.
This is a pretty punishing hill for the LW2 skiers. Dotti doing a great job here on the finish stages, though.
And 16th position, 7.6 seconds off the pace. Jules Segers of France, the 19-year-old with bib number 40, the next to go in his first Paralympic Winter Games, and 4.5 seconds off the pace at the second split.
Nice smooth execution on the double, and a good entry to these closing 4 or 5 gates. Can let it run from here.
15th position, 6.31 off the pace for Segers from France. Thomas Veverka from the Czech Republic, the next to challenge. And Veverka raced snowboard in Sochi in 2014, where he was 5th in the snowboard cross.
Keeping it solid here, Veverka through the middle part of the course. A little bit too direct, I would suggest, on this couple of gates. Snow changeable, you know, there's patches where there's still piles of soft, and other parts, particularly here on the final pitch, where it's still in the shade, or mostly in the shade, and the snowpack's staying very hard, so a real challenge out there underfoot for these guys today.
57.6. And 109.38 slides into 21st position for the time being. James Whitley from Great Britain, the 24-year-old in his 3rd Paralympic Winter Games.
James over onto the final pitch, carrying good pace.
57.6 is the time, and he's going to be close. That's an excellent run from Whitley, 3.48 off the pace. Slides into 12th position. Jesse Keefe of the United States of America, the 17-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games. And Keefe 2.83 off the pace at the first split.
Good middle section here. Stays on top of the action. Ooh, a little wide there. Just limit the damage here while he goes through the final transition, because as the terrain steepens up again, he can get back to work, try to work on that gap.
Walsall still our leader, and Keefe 5.46 off the pace, and looks a little frustrated with himself. Koike Kakuta from Japan, the 39-year-old who's represented Japan at every Paralympic Winter Games since 2006.
Catch Koike through this midsection. Nice swing from side to side, rhythmical turns. Keeps the gap under 4 seconds. That's very respectable.
Just gets thrown a little out of shape on that double footer coming into the final pitch. Walsh 57.6 and Koike 5.45 off the pace, 14th position for him. Bib number 45, Tyler Carter from the United States of America, 28 years of age, retiring after this season. What can Carter do in his last Paralympic GS?
Solid turns here, gets that pole plant in, or at least the action for the pole plant. So important to help with the timing of the move from foot to foot. Keep that weight, momentum being transferred towards the front of the skis to maintain control over those razor sharp edges. They need control today. You can hear how icy this section has stayed. Choppy up on the top, but still very slick down here.
Carter goes for the line, 1:13.32, 26th position for the time being for Carter. Liu Xiaoji from the People's Republic of China, the 22-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games, is on track. 5.5 seconds off the pace at the second split. Here's the final pitch.
Got to dive forward. Keep the weight a little bit further towards the front of the ski. That was a good job there on the last blue gate.
105.29. News slides into 21st position. Leander Kress from Germany, bib number 47, the 21-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games. And Kress 4 seconds off the pace at the first split.
Yeah, good work, especially being an LW2 skier, just working there with one leg across these flats, putting as much physical effort as he possibly can down onto the ski. Strong side on the double here. Got to get quick and early onto the little toe and drive it down the fall line, down towards that finish line. It's only a couple of gates away now.
Here comes Kress. And 22nd position for the time being. 8.62 off the pace. And that hurt. Li Biyao from the People's Republic of China, 23 years of age. And he is out. And big disappointment for Li. He was only down to race speed events and the giant slalom, so that could be his bow here at Beijing 2022. Current standings. Thomas Charles Walsh of the United States leads the way from Kiveri of Finland, and Gumur, the defending Paralympic champion, in third. It's nicely set up for this second run. Naoki Yamamoto is ready to go. Looking like he's enjoying himself at the top. That's Rachbauer from Austria, the 21-year-old. And back to the calm at the top. Sun Yanlong from the People's Republic of China, bib number 49. The 27-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games. And a chance to see this track from top to bottom.
Yeah, and let's see if that slight delay has affected Sun's concentration following the early exit of his competitor. This is decent. Oh, just as I say that, gets pushed a little low on the left foot turn coming off the steeper part. Needs to just settle things down. Oh, another slight error, 2 in a row there. I must say, it's getting difficult up here now. These chatter marks, those small, they're not so deep, the ruts, but they're very, very sharp. So if the ski isn't set up solidly under the athlete's body, then it's very hard to maintain control and obviously carry that all-important momentum around the arc.
3 seconds off the pace at the first bit. Here comes the second, 42.17, and the lateness in the line reflected in the clock. Better entrance on the left ski into the finishing pitch. 57.6 is the time of Walsh, and Sun is 16th at the moment, 6.09 off the pace. Naoki Yamamoto of Japan, the next to challenge, 27 years of age, his first Paralympic Winter Games. He was a non-disabled Alpine racer before his accident in 2019, and his aim is to win a medal in 2026 or 2030.
Good job on the top section by Aoki. Makes certain of those opening turns. Same plan there across the flat through that final, or the only double gate past the final split time and onto this final pitch. Keeps the rhythm, keeps the high line. Solid stuff for a relative novice at this level.
57.6 is the leader's time, and Aoki 13.39 off the pace, but he's back for run 2, and the learning curve continues. Andrzej Szczesny of Poland next on track. His 3rd Paralympic Winter Games, having missed 2018. Coming into that final pitch now.
Looking a little tired here. Hardly surprising. As I say, it's not the longest giant slalom that we've seen this year, but it is difficult because of the snow conditions.
And making that last gate to set a time of 1:06.14. 23rd place for Szczesny. Arvid Skoglund of Sweden, the next to challenge, 18 years of age in his first Paralympic Winter Games. Oh, and he's down, gets caught on the inside and slides out.
Yeah, looking for momentum out of those last couple of turns on the pitch. Just a turn or two earlier than he ought to have risked, I think. Inexperience partly causing that mistake.
Bib number 53, Manuel Rachbauer of Austria, the 21-year-old, the first Paralympic Winter Games for Rachbauer. And negotiating those opening steep turns well.
.97 at the previous split, round the double. Rachbauer just needs to keep this one clean. That's a 9.2. He has to be making certain of the entry point of these turns because it's steep. If he gets low, he'll lose more time.
Walsh's time is 57.6, not 111.4. Nilsen Grasto of Norway, the next to go. Marcus Nilsen Grasto, 20 years of age, and a first Paralympic Winter Games from him, and 6.43 off the pace at the second split. Good work from the 20-year-old.
Yeah, finding good purchase through that middle section, not adding too much to the deficit. A little sideways, though, in that previous red. Straightens it up for the line from here.
106.99. Yeah, Walsh's time is not 110, it's 57.6. Samuel Fernandez of Chile, the next to go, 25 years of age, first Paralympic Winter Games, used to race at a national level before his injury.
Yeah, it's a 9.1. He's passed the first seriously difficult series of set of turns. Those early turns very steep. It's a little bit more forgiving through the middle section here, so he can afford to just let the skis wash and run over the snow. It's all about a change, though, coming over this next another few gates, and he'll be onto that final pitch, which, as we've seen already, really is where all of the athletes find their work cut out. Now he knows that he needs to set up. Bit of a drift on the red gate. He should be okay from here, though, because those two turns are the key ones for this section. Just making it around this blue. That's good. 2 more gates to go, and he should be safe.
He's done it. Safely negotiated that really steep pitch, and Fernandez is down. It's really tough work on that final pitch, and he's done it. That's our current leader, Thomas Charles Walsh. Bib number 56, it's Tony Matsi of Belgium, the 33-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games. Represented Belgium in para-athletics at the European Championships in 2014, 2016 and 2018. So used to high-level competition, but a change of terrain underfoot.
Yeah, you could say that. He's done real well on this top part. Got a decent pace coming off the pitch. Just has to stay ahead of the action, both physically and in terms of his concentration. Get himself set up in each and every one of the gates for the couple of turns that follow.
Now you can get into the rhythm of the track on this flatter section. Got to get the line right here to take it onto the steep part. Nice turns.
Yeah, very good work through the middle part. Here comes the main transition. Matsi keeping the work rate up, that athletic experience, giving him a decent midsection. You know, it's a long way from top to bottom here, and maximal physical effort required in each and every single turn.
Matsi comes to the end of the challenge, and he is 13.56 off the pace of Thomas Charles Walsh, who was first out of the start hut in this men's giant slalom standing race. And he will take the lead into run 2 later on day 6. So the standings after run 1 of the men's giant slalom standing race. Thomas Charles Walsh of the United States of America leads the way from Santeri Kiiveri of Finland. Theo Gamor of Switzerland, the defending Paralympic champion in this discipline, is third. Just over 3/4 of a second separate the top 3. Run 2 should be fascinating, where the fastest skiers go in reverse order, so a chance for those that finish behind Walsh in the first run to put pressure on him in the second. Men's giant slalom sitting race run 1, the Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games, and the defending Paralympic champion Jesper Pedersen has bib number 65. He's also the reigning world champion and the current World Cup standings leader in giant slalom, and a red-hot favourite for this race. The bronze medalist from 2018, Igor Sikorsky, he has bib number 71, and he won a silver at the World Championships in January of this year. We have 40 competitors from 21 national Paralympic committees at the top of the hill. And a really good look there at the side of Maury's rig to see how complex the rig is and the work that needs to go into building the sit ski. See how soft the snow is becoming, and there's an idea of how steep the track is. You can see the gatekeepers wearing crampons on their ski boots to allow them to walk across the hill. One's across, and the men's giant slalom about to get underway.
Okay, 57, next category in the gate, 10 seconds.
Mori Taiki of Japan will get the men's giant slalom sitting race underway. Run 1 of 2. And Mori, the 41-year-old who made his debut in the Paralympic Winter Games back in 2002 in Salt Lake City.
Once again, we see these top gates really are where much of the time can be won or lost. Taiki doing a great job in the sort of from gates 5 and 6 onwards. You see that trademark deep angle that he makes in the turn, showing us the whole base of the ski. Look at that. Lays the rig right over. Oh, just gets bounced. Now, these holes are going to cause problems for the sit skiers. Taiki rides that one out very well indeed, but it did cost him time.
Well, 4 times a silver medalist in the Paralympic Winter Games in giant slalom, and he's desperate to go one better here if he can. But he's had some difficulties on the opening turns, so this is much better, much smoother.
Yeah, the sit skiers really have to be certain of exactly where they point the ski, especially in the early part of the turn. And that aspect is doubly important on a day like today, when there are these inconsistencies in the course where some gates are smooth and hard, others are softening and with holes in them as well.
Here comes Mori now to the finish. 105.38 for those that remain at the top, 39 of them. But he's back for run 2, and you've got to be in the mix. Matthew Ryan Brewer from the United States of America, the 46-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games, a former snowboard competitor for his impairment. And at 3.32, the wrong side of the clock.
Negotiate that double very nicely there. Took a little bit of extra space just to keep the line smooth. Oh, he doesn't make it stick on this couple, though. That was a bit of a costly slide to get himself back on the line.
And 5.24 off the pace at the bottom. 1:10.62 is factor time. Suzuki Takeshi from Japan, the Paralympic slalom champion in 2014 and 3rd in this discipline in 2010.
Through this middle section, Takeshi showing his technical skills. Slightly straighter line than his compatriot before him, but it's also fast.
0.13 off the pace at the last split. He's 0.45 the right side of the clock. Suzuki with an excellent finishing pitch to take provisional first place. Yang Zilu of the People's Republic of China, just 17 years of age. And he is attacking and attacking well, because he's 1.94 the right side of the clock. This is fantastic skiing from Liang.
Yeah, sets the ski onto the fall line, drives it towards the line.
And 3.38 the right side of the clock. What an opening run from Liang of China. René Di Silvestro of Italy, the 25-year-old in his second Paralympic Winter Games. His best result was in GS in 2018 when he was 7th, but he's absolutely flying. 2.54 the right side of the clock.
Yeah, you can see why he's leaving real pencil marks, real accurate. Oh, deep carves, just as I say that. He's unable to hang on to the speed that he brought onto the final pitch. Has to put in a big check.
But has he still got the green light? Heavens, well, he was absolutely flying down that final pitch. He's still got 1.5 seconds.
I don't think he can believe his luck. Well done.
Niels de Langen of the Netherlands, the next to challenge. A silver medalist at the World Champs in 2019.
Yeah, De Langen has to keep it clean. So far, so good. This is a strong middle section from the Dutch skier.
Well, he was 400ths off the pace at the first split, and now nearly 8 seconds off at the second. Maybe the mistake in there somewhere that we didn't see, but these are good turns to finish for De Langen. Just over a minute. Our leading time, and De Langen finds time on the final pitch, but he's got work to do. 6.9 off the pace. Keno Akira of Japan, bib number 63. He's won medals in the speed events at the Paralympic Winter Games. Not renowned as a technical skier. Let's see how he goes.
Puts this experience to good use. The time not really reflecting the skills. Maybe tactically going a little too direct. And as we know in giant slalom, it's all about really keeping the momentum through these middle to longer size sweeping turns. And Keno getting it sideways a bit on the steep as well.
7.34 off the pace, goes into 6th place for the time being. Corey Peters of New Zealand, bib number 64 in his third Paralympic Winter Games. He was a silver medalist in giant slalom in 2014 in Sochi. He's been in good form here, but his form has deserted him on the ice river piece because Peters is out.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't show you what went wrong there. Start orders, start intervals very tight indeed here today to get these athletes down the hill quickly enough before the snow goes too soft.
Jesper Pedersen of Norway, the defending Paralympic champion, the reigning world champion, the current World Cup giant slalom standings leader, is on track, the 22-year-old.
Great top section by Pedersen. A little drift on a couple of these turns just to keep himself under control. Now, let's see if the tactic's paying off. These turns are quick. He's letting them run now, picking up some momentum for the flat section.
23.63 is the Silvestro's time as he runs wide, but Pedersen still has the green light.
He's just taking it right to the limit. The turn's running lower than I think he would really ideally like. Keeps the work rate up, though, as he comes to the closing turns of the flat.
43.35, the next split time for Pedersen. And at the second split, he's got nearly 3/4 of a second. Pedersen getting the reward for his risk.
Now has to dig deep. The last of the physical reserves is what he needs to draw on for this final pitch. A rather heavy edge set on the blue. Sets him up nicely, however, for the red. It looks like a good tactical run.
1:02, and he's in by 2.11 of a second. Pedersen with an excellent finishing pitch. Goes into the lead, but he's not sure how that will stack up come the end of the run. Lou Baz-Dagand of France, the next to challenge in his first Paralympic Winter Games. He was 5th in the giant slalom at the World Championships in 2017, but he's 3.44 off the pace at the first split.
Couple of little problems. He missed the entry to the second gate up on the early steep. It's really now just a case of limiting the damage. Difficult on this course to find more time on the lower section because the course is still very icy. And as we've said many times this morning already, this lower section, the run to the finish, is very steep indeed.
104.11, 6.20. Li Xiang of the People's Republic of China, 67, 24 years of age, first Paralympic Winter Games, and 3.35 off the pace of the first split. That has grown a little bit.
Keeps the skis swinging left and right. It's getting drifted a little low in some of the turns. Picks the line up better, though, in the double. Here come the money turns, if you like, the finish pitch. Gets drifted again on that blue gate. Recovers the line well. Points it down the fall line now for the finish line.
107.11. Lee, 9.2 off the pace, goes into 8th place. Floris Meyer of the Netherlands, bib number 68, the 32-year-old. First Paralympic Winter Games for Meyer. And 6.1 off the pace as he comes into the finishing pitch.
Just a little sideways on that red gate as he finds his way onto the less grippy snow. He's realized he needs to really send it here.
9.1 off the pace, 107.01. 8th place for Meyer. Jeroen Kamschere of the Netherlands, the world champion in giant slalom from 2019. How much pressure can he put on Jesper Pedersen's time?
He's trying every trick in the book. Kamschere really on the limit and a little bit beyond on the final pitch.
57.91, but he's within 1.1 seconds, 109 off the pace. Ooh, that sets up the second run nicely. Little shake of the head, though, from Kamschere. Han Sang-min from Korea, the 42-year-old, made his Paralympic Winter Games debut back in 2002. He got his only podium in giant slalom when he was second. But he's 4.26 off the pace, and that's now 7 seconds off the pace of the second time split.
Keeps the work rate up. Oh, so I like to say, deep angles in those turns just before the double. Oh, just misses the transition from red to blue there. Gets pushed wide out to his left as a result.
106.99, 9.08 off the pace. 9th place for the time being. Igor Sikorski of Poland, the bronze medalist from Pyeongchang in 2018. Sikorski now 31 years of age and his 3rd Paralympic Winter Games. And that's a big mistake that will cost him dearly.
Yeah, I'd put on the emergency brakes there just before the double. That's just, you know, the error itself, but then the loss of momentum for the double sort of makes him lose the rhythm as well, and he's out on the final pitch. Shame that within sight of the finish line too.
Sikorski, the bronze medalist from 2019, is out of the giant slalom in 2022. Wang Hui from the People's Republic of China, bib number 72, 25 years of age in his first Paralympic Winter Games, and 5.76 off the pace at the first split.
Just got to keep it steady through this middle section. Can't afford any big line checks or errors. If you lose momentum on the flatter section, obviously it's very difficult to make the time up. Not a bad job. Here's the double that brings him to the final pitch. Gets out to his right. Goes in a bit straight on that red, but he's got good grip from the ski.
Nicely done from Wang Hui. And will he make it back for run 2? Yes, he will. And he will finish run 1, 14.33 off the pace of Pedersen. Nicolas Besker-Hudson of Chile, the next to go, 23 years of age. 2nd Paralympic Winter Games for Besker-Hudson, who was 9th in the slalom in 2018. That was his best finish.
He's got a good tactical approach here for the entry to the final pitch. Took extra space from the double. Should make it safe from here.
And 8th place for the time being for Besker-Hudson of Chile. 7.89 off the pace of our leader Pedersen. Enrique Plante of Argentina, the 39-year-old, goes with bib number 74, 3rd Paralympic Winter Games for him. 3.74 off the pace.
Yeah, going well, going really well across the middle flats here, and good tactical entry, good direction on the exit of the double. A little chatter from the skis, but he's keeping the pace up. This is a competitive run from the Argentinian.
Plante stops the clock, 4.22 off the pace, 5th for him. Nice work. Chen Liang from the People's Republic of China next on track with bib number 75, 24 years of age, and just 4.13 off the pace at the second split. Good skiing.
Nice work on the double. He's in a little hot here, a little straighter than he can dare. Oh, he doesn't quite get the reward from the risk. Manages to stay upright.
And just manages to make the final blue gate, 5.65 off the pace. Those errors on the final pitch costing him some time. Bib 76. David Allen Williams of the United States of America, 42 years of age, his first major championships. And he is out.
He's out of this one. That's unfortunate. The rig backing out from underneath his body, unable to maintain control through those difficult bumps and ruts in the middle part of the flatter section on the course.
Current leaders, Jesper Pedersen, Kampscher, Di Silvestro. Top three separated by just over 2 seconds. Bib 77 is Ravi Drugan of the United States of America. 32 years of age in the first Paralympic Winter Games for Drugan, and he's out on track, and he's got to negotiate these very steep opening gates. And he's done that nicely. It's the first 5 gates that are really steep, first 6 gates.
Good job there. Now tries to find something where he can let the ski begin to run to pick up the momentum. Technically and tactically, so far, this is a solid run from Drugan. Good pace. You see now, as the course gets a little choppy, the rig getting bounced around. Great job by Drugan to stay in control. Skips around that big hole.
At 4.3 off the pace of Pedersen. These are better turns from Drugan. Snapping from one edge to the other.
Yeah, dynamic stuff. The rig and athlete working well together to get that ski arcing and carving from turn to turn. Look how smooth these are. Great work by Drugan. What's the split time given?
Here he comes on this red gate. 8.13 off the pace. 15th place on the hill.
Now this all-important final pitch, he gets a little wide, trying a bit too hard to get set up for the pitch. Oh, and looks to be struggling here as a result. The consequence coming a couple of gates later, but he's going to make it to the line.
1:11.26, 17th place, 13.35 off the pace. Ali Velasquez Penaloza of Mexico is on his way, the only Mexican athlete here. In fact, Mexico don't have a para-alpine team. It is Velasquez Penaloza. He is his technician, his manager, his PR man, and it took him 54 hours to get here. Oh no, does he come to a stop? He's still going, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah, technically speaking, if he comes to an absolute stop, then it's a disqualification, but I think he was okay. He's going to make certain he's put a lot of effort in here. One more recovery, he should just be able to make... Oh no, he's gone now.
Just one
gate from home.
Too many for Velasquez Penaloza, and huge disappointment for him. He is out of the giant slalom. Murat Pellet of Switzerland, the next to go. Second Paralympic Winter Games for him. And 8.71 off the pace at the second split. And he gets pushed very low in the line as he comes onto the steep pitch. And he is down, but not stopped. That, however, is a stop.
That's unfortunate for Pellet. He put a lot of work in up until that point, but the double gate, the line out of the double gate, and I think perhaps the firmness of the snow under the ski catching him out.
Janez Slivnik of Slovenia on track, the only Slovenian athlete here in his second Paralympic Winter Games. 12th in the slalom in 2018. He was 4th in the slalom at the World Champs in 2022, so perhaps be looking to later on in these games. But in the giant slalom, 1:04.89, 6.98 off the pace. Pascal Christen of Switzerland, the next to go, 29 years of age in his first Paralympic Winter Games.
They're so scared, going solidly through this middle part. Reasonable, clean set of turns at the very top, translating to smooth turns here across the flats. Through the final double. a good line. Oh, has to make a bit of a check though on the blue gate, just in the deeper part of the steep section.
And he will stop the clock in 1:07.82, 9.91 off the pace, 17th position for Pascal Christen. Sam Tate of Australia, the next to challenge, the 30-year-old in his second Paralympic Winter Games. On his schedule, not racing the slalom, it says, so this would be his last appearance of these Paralympic Winter Games.
So he'll want to make certain on the closing gates of this first run of the men's sitting giant slalom. Tate gets the edge set nice and early, holds that curve. A little bit of a drift. It's maybe not the quickest down here, but he should be safe.
1:10.28, 18th position for the Australian. So a little pause in proceedings, and Aaron Ewan is the next out the start hut. '25-year-old Aaron Ewan from New Zealand with bib number 83, the next to go in his first Paralympic Winter Games. He missed Pyeongchang in 2018 after fracturing his hip in December of 2017. And Ewan is out. Now these first 6 gates, absolutely key. They're really steep, and they will set the rhythm for the rest of the course.
And they're very bumpy as well, particularly the right footers. You know, this turn here, big hole just off the line. So Ewan choosing a good tactical approach, maybe not attacking as hard as some of the athletes ahead of him, but managing to dodge the worst of the ruts and bumps. Let's see at the next checkpoint if that tactical approach has paid off. There's the really big hole on the blue gate. He's safely through that.
4.18 off the pace for Aaron Ewan. Now he can let the rig run through this flatter section.
Keeps it smooth, keeps it calm, runs the curve around. Shouldn't lose too much more time with an approach like this. Now is to dig deep as the terrain begins to steepen up again.
Coming towards the next time split. 7.8 now, the deficit.
Here's the double. He's got to get up to his right, almost kiss that blue line if he can. Dive down through the red and this next very icy blue. That's really the bogey gate of this course, I would say. He should be safe home from here.
And Ewan will stop the clock. 1:09.04 goes into 18th for the time being. 11.13 off the pace. Gong Xiaolin from the People's Republic of China, the 32-year-old in his first major competition. Only took up the sport in 2017, and he's 5.58 off the pace at the second split, but these looks like some decent turns.
Yeah, definitely smooth here. Look at that. Sets it up nicely for the double, swings all the way around. Slightly longer route than some, but it allows him to carry the momentum. Big check there on the blue gate, that icy blue gate. Keeps him on the track, keeps him running for the line.
1:06.42, 8.51 off the pace, 12th position for Gong Xiaolin. Pavel Bambasek of the Czech Republic, the 37-year-old in his second Paralympic Winter Games, is on track. Bambasek 5.34 off the first split, is now 10.39.
I think perhaps out of sight of our cameras, he's had a mistake. There's definitely an error as the terrain getting a little icy. He's a bit over-rotated with his shoulders, and that torque force and the lack of grip underfoot causing the ski to break sideways and scrub a lot of speed.
1:13.15, 24th position for Bambasek, 15.24 off the pace. Japan in the start hut, bib number 86, Fujiwara Tetsu, 41 years of age, first major championship for Fujiwara. And away he goes, and he has to negotiate these steep, bumpy opening 6 gates to set himself up for the rest of the track.
Gives these turns the respect they deserve. Really, there's no point in going just too direct or too aggressively into these turns. Must now just gradually bring the momentum and bring the curve around these gates, avoid the worst of the holes, because the rigs, although the suspension systems are very strong, very sophisticated, there's only a limit out to what they can actually absorb. Good work again by Fujiwara, where the deepest of the holes are. He just gets the ski pointing exactly the right direction and rides his way across those ruts very nicely indeed.
5.03 off the pace at the first split. These are good turns from Fujiwara. What will the clock say when we get to the second time split, which is 42.61? And Fujiwara now 9.32 off the pace.
At this point in the competition, somewhere around 10 seconds off at that second split isn't too bad. You know, the course is deteriorating, so it's going to be really difficult for any of these later men to challenge for an absolute top spot. It's about limiting the damage and getting themselves in there for that all-important second run.
1:10.28, 20th position for Fujiwara. Yasmin Bamba of the United States of America, the 42-year-old in his 4th Paralympic Winter Games, former handball player for the USA.
Bamba taking some risks coming off the pitch here, letting the rig run straighter than a few before him, so let's see how he goes across the flat. Got to keep the swing, keep that momentum and movement from one side to another. Got to keep that flowing. Keep driving the ski, driving the rig down towards the bottom of the hill. Through the bumps, gets air time through that big hole, but he hangs in there.
Yeah, 3.74, originally from Serbia. He was the first Winter Paralympian for Serbia back in 2010, but then switched nationalities to the USA.
Great middle section. Despite the ruts and bumps and jumps for Bamba, he keeps it going. All those years of experience showing strongly here for him, I would suggest.
Next time split coming up, 42.61 and 7.33 off the pace. That's inside the top 20.
Here's the double, cuts it very wide at the start, gets high on the exit. That's exactly where he wants to be. Now he just has to take advantage of that and give a quick release to the ski, point it down the hill and into the next turn.
57.91 and 18th position, 107.8 for Bamba on run 1. Josh Hanlon of Australia, the 24-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games. He was 8th in the slalom and the giant slalom at the World Championships in January of 2022. And on these opening 6 turns of this giant slalom course, which are steep and bumpy, he does really well.
Yeah, confident skiing from the young Australian.
Fractured his back in 4 places in July of last year, so there's some comeback from Hanlon.
Gets bounced a little wide out to his right there. The rig not really doing the best job of absorbing the terrain, but he's put that mistake behind him. Hanlon drives on, real confident skiing through this middle section. Keeps the rhythm nice and smooth. Doesn't harm the momentum. Just takes a little more direction perhaps than he could afford on some of these turns. But as I say, the tactics for the later runners here in the bumpy, choppy conditions really are to have a solid and a relatively safe run to make sure they make it to the bottom and get back for this afternoon's second run. Here's the final pitch, and he's still well on top of things.
105, 106.6, 8.69, 13th place. He'll have better conditions in run 2 when the order is reversed. So the start intervals being extended. We'll see all of these late runners from start to finish.
Hey, honey, too.
Robert Engel getting the shout outs. Not sure about the order. So a little bit of a hold, and it'll be while the gate marshals just do some work to try and keep the racing line as clean as possible. Plenty of support for Team USA at the bottom of the hill. And the star referee, Sawano Hiroshi of Japan, just saw him just talking to Engel. Drahos from Czech Republic. He's going bib number 93. And Engel just a little longer at the top. Oh, now that is why we are on a hold, and don't know who that might be. We have 5 non-finishers in this race so far.
I think that's actually one of the course workers who seems to have hurt themselves and have been evacuated off in the sledge, but it does look like we're about to get the action back underway.
Robert Hennigal of the United States of America, the 38-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games, is off and running here at Beijing 2022.
Good line on the top section for Hennigal. Gets just a little late as the gates tighten up just before the flat, but drops that rig in, takes the necessary risks, makes that big angle, and carries good pace. As a result, avoids the big hole there just before the split time.
Just a little late in the line, but I think that's because he's trying to avoid those big holes that have appeared, and this is much better for Hennigal. Some lovely angles.
Good skiing through the midsection. Just a little, having to be a little heavy with some of the edge sets. He's maybe going a bit too deep because his line has dropped a bit late. A little check here.
6.62. He runs inside the top 15 at that point, but here's the double gate that comes on to the finishing pitch.
Finds a fall line nice and early. Double check on the blue, makes certain, ooh, and a big slide on the red, but he recovers it well.
Lost his speed though, and a 1:08.72, 21st position, 10.81. Well, he'll be back for run 2 and will have learnt a lot from run 1. Brian Rowland of Canada, bib number 90. The first Paralympic Winter Games for Rowland.
Bounced a little far out to his left on that very important second gate. He got dropped right into the big hole at the top of that second gate.
You can see how soft the snow is when he runs a little wide on the line.
Yeah, the temperatures now beginning to take their toll on the snow surface. The whole of the mountain bathed in sunshine, and our course workers are going to have their job's cut out for the second run. Wide shot here showing Roland dodging that big hole. That's good tactical work by him.
And in touch inside the top 15 at the first split, as he runs a little wide into the softer snow that you can see building up on the side.
Keeps it going here as the terrain begins to steepen up. He needs to make that move from edge to edge a little more quickly. That's just exactly what he does. Drops the rig in deep as he dares.
That was a superb angle.
Yeah. Good on the double. Got to make certain of this one. It's much icier. Yeah, really good execution here onto the final pitch.
Oh, Roland throws it in for the final turn, and 12th, 8.16 off the pace. Good skiing from Brian Roland. Dan Sheehan of Great Britain, the 40-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games, a member of the Armed Forces Para Snow Sports team in Great Britain. And negotiating these very steep, very bumpy opening 6 turns well, and now can start to go to work on the flatter section of this ice river piste.
Big Dan Sheehan looking for speed now, coming off the flats, stepping up to this high level of performance very well. Oh, just as I say that, he runs wide on the red, manages just to nick inside the blue. That's a shame, because up until then it was pretty much a flawless performance by Sheehan.
Well, 7.76 off the pace, as he almost has to start again.
Yeah, he just has to stay calm, not let the mistake break his concentration. He looks to be composing himself well through the middle flats.
Next time split 42.61. And yeah, that mistake just taking its toll on the clock, but still got to try and get himself inside the top 30.
Now here comes the transition. Setting himself up in these 3 or 4 gates. Ready now for the long run to the line.
57.91's Pedersen's time. Sheehan, though, 30th position, 17.37 off the pace. Did well to get down after that big mistake. Alex Slegg from Great Britain, the 30-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games. Member of the Armed Forces Para Snow Sport team in Great Britain, and has been ski racing since 2017, and the opening steep turns are well negotiated by Slegg.
Ooh, a little trouble there, but recovers well. So important not to allow your focus to be broken by these mistakes. Not one athlete will have a clean run because of the very challenging conditions here today. These changing snow conditions really making it tough for the men.
Next time split, 42.61. Slegg gets airborne and pitched forward. That's a good recovery, good strength from Alex Slegg.
Keeps his focus. This is really good work now as he comes towards the beginning of the final pitch.
And 10.66 off the pace at the second split. And here is the double that takes him onto the steep, icy finishing pitch.
Set that up well. He's carrying a lot of pace now. He has to be committed, dig deep for the line. Should be good from here.
Yeah, enjoying the harder snow conditions on that finishing pitch. Goes 29th position, 14.61 off the pace. 1:12.52 for Alex Slegg. Petr Drahos of the Czech Republic, the 35-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games. He was 15th in the giant slalom at the World Championships in January of this year. And these are good turns.
Yeah, real good
Just
turns. Course workers have kept used that short break just to keep the course in as prime condition as they possibly can.
Just got caught a little straight on that blue gate, but recovers well.
Runs it wide here. The tactic costing him a bit of time, but it kept him out of trouble in terms of having to negotiate those deep holes. Passes the slalom start and the terrain gets ever steeper. Keeps the swing left and right, rolling that rig over, loading up the ski, carving around nicely.
Yeah, nice and calm from Drahos, and on the clock it's 8.99. He's still inside the top 30. Just got to keep that concentration to the max coming into this final pitch.
Good grip there. Pushes the ski sideways. It's not the fastest turn, but it does keep him safely in the course.
And Drahos will stop the clock at 1:10.89. He goes 27th position. The skiing from Drahos from the Czech Republic. Bib number 94 is Miguel Catalan from Chile. The 24-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games. He picked up or sustained his injury in 2018, so a relative newcomer to Para-Alpine, and he is down that steep section really well.
Yeah, he's hanging in there well. I can't really overstate how difficult that top part is. You can see how much movement there is there from his rig as the suspension is worked to its max, going over these ripples and holes left by the previous skiers.
First time split, 7.31 off the pace. But nicely done from Catalan. Ooh, then just gets forced across the piste, but continues his momentum, so that's okay.
Yeah, his tactical approach there, he was doing exactly what he'd planned, I think. You know, starting to let those turns run out as he came off that middle pitch onto a slightly flatter section, tried to get the speed across the flat. Didn't quite pay off, but he's back on top of things here now. More clean turns as he comes to the lower third of the course.
Your debut at the Paralympic Winter Games can be a daunting experience, and so Catalan in his first race at Beijing 2022 will be wanting to put down a good as run as possible, of course, but important to finish the run, get back for run 2, and he's done that. And the clock, well, it's 1:20.05, 33rd position. And he enjoyed it, which is good to see. Richard Dumity of Hungary, the next to race, the only Hungarian athlete at Beijing 2022. And his moment has arrived, 25 years of age, first Paralympic Winter Games, 16th in the Giant Slalom at the World Championships, and has only been skiing competitively since 2020. And these opening 6 steep, bumpy turns will be a real test, as they are for all the athletes here.
Yeah, he's going, for a relative novice, he's going very solidly indeed here, you know, not looking for the absolute fastest line, but it's all about consistency in these closing stages of our men's first run, because the course really is in quite bad shape in certain sections. Course workers have done as much as they can to try to smooth out the ruts, but the warm temperatures conspiring against both athletes and course workers alike. Dumity keeps it smooth here across the middle flats. Not really much momentum, much extra momentum to be found here, because it's relatively flat compared to the top and the tail of this course. Those really are the most challenging, steepest sections of this hill.
The next time split for Dumity, Sees him 17 seconds off the pace, but the challenge is perhaps a different one rather than the clock for Dumity.
Yeah, really all about making it safely to the finish line here. And these are the trickiest turns on the hill. That blue one he has just passed is super slick. You can see the different color snow, indicating that some patches on this final pitch are still very, very icy.
And Dumity will be back for run 2. 1:24.04. Bib number 96, Orlando Perez from Puerto Rico, the only athlete from Puerto Rico at these Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games, 46 years of age. He was a wheelchair basketball player, played for Puerto Rico, and he played professionally in the United States of America. Retired in 2017 and took up Paralpine skiing, and he's negotiated these opening 6 turns, which are a real test for any athlete.
Yes, and especially the less experienced guys and girls that we'll see in the technical competitions they really have their work cut out as the snow conditions get bumpy, softer, bumpier. It's the inconsistency really that causes the problem. Some sections are hard, some sections are a little softer, holes develop, and then it's very difficult to predict or see at race pace exactly what there is coming up. So keeping things safe to a fair degree is really the order of the day for the later runners. They need to take a bit more space above the turn than usual, and just not take too many risks. Keep it going nice and steady, sweeping left and right, counting down the gates all the way to the finish line.
Well, Perez getting some encouragement from the course workers on the side, up by the slalom start, and he is over halfway down this difficult challenge. Well, the second time split has been and gone, but this is going to be the real challenge for him as he comes through this red and blue double gate, which brings him onto this final steep pitch.
Just takes a moment there almost to catch his breath. He knows it's going to be difficult. Oh, and he goes down on the first of those icy turns.
And he is out, sadly, for Perez. He's okay, just needs to watch where he's going, because he will go top to bottom if he's not careful, because it is that steep on this track. He seems to be okay, and that is the end of his race. Orlando Perez will be helped up onto his monoski, and you can see the course workers going to work immediately. So the result of the first run of the men's giant slalom sitting race. Jesper Pedersen of Norway, the defending champion, leads the way from Jeroen Kampschere of the Netherlands, with René Del Silvestro of Italy in third place. Pedersen laid down a masterful run in that opener, and those behind him will have to ski like lightning in run 2 to put him under pressure to see if he can successfully defend the title he picked up in Pyeongchang of 2018. 34 of our 40 racers got to the bottom of run 1. What a morning of giant slalom racing we've just witnessed on day 6 of Beijing 2022. The course workers and the officials getting ready to set run 2, which is Benjamin Rouet of France, who is setting the second pattern of gates. And there's lots of work to be done to get this ice river piece ready for run 2 later on day 6.